So if you look at pictures from the Korean War, you may see hats like the one I'm wearing. And what these hats are called pile caps. So as you may be able to tell, this is a hat made for colder weather, and as you can see, it features a tie at the top to keep the top flaps tied up or down like I'm about to show. It has this fur liner on the ear flaps, and then on the inside it has a wool interior, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit with the different versions I have. And so it is made so that you can untie this top part, and with the ties undone, you can fold these parts down, which makes ear flaps and a little bit of extra protection for your neck, so it will help keep your neck and ears warm. And also you can take these ties and adjust them so that you can tie it to your face, which will help you keep it nice and warm. It also features this brim, which in a quartermaster specification, I believe from the 1950s, states that it should be able to be turned up or down. And the reason for this is so that you can wear it with a helmet like this, and then it makes it so that you can wear the helmet and also keep warm. That is also the reason why it is this round shape and just overall made the way it is. So these pile caps were originally designed in the 1940s, originally designated as the Cap Pile Field M1943, Cap Field Pile M1943, and this style would have a fur on this part where this brim would be, and this style did see some use during World War II. So after World War II, they made some small changes to the hat, that mainly being the fur brim. They changed to just this regular cotton brim. That way the brim, when turned down, would not get in the way. As you can see, this one, it's a little bit more cumbersome, but this one I'll talk about in a little bit. So it makes it less cumbersome, and also it doesn't really do a whole lot for the hat anyway. So they took that out, and then they changed the name. I believe that's the main changes that happened, and they changed it from Cap Field, I gotta read this again, Cap Field Pile M1943 to Cap Field Pile MQ1. I don't know what MQ1 stands for, but that is what they would have been called interwar until about 1951. So this particular one is a Cap Field Pile MQ1. As you can see, it has the regular brim without the fur. It still has the tie and the fur. I have heard that maybe the fur changes over the years, but I'm not too positive. And then on the inside of this one, I'm not sure how well that's picking up, but it has a green wool liner, and here is the tag that says Cap Field Pile MQ1, and then the other tag is mostly ripped out, unfortunately. So this would have been used interwar into the early Korean War days. Then in 1951, another change was made, and that being just the name. These are all pretty much the same hat. And so they changed it to Cap Field Pile MQ1 to Cap Field Pile M1951. So pretty much just the name changed, but one thing I'm going to point out, the fur is still the same, so that is something to note. So both of these hats are Cap Field Pile M1951, and if you look at the inside, they have different colors for the wool inner lining. So I feel like that may just be a maker's difference, because I do have a couple that are, made in the 50s, and they have different color liners, unless maybe after 1952 into 1953 they changed the color. I'm not too positive, but I think it's just maker's differences. And if you look, this one is quite mint. This is a 1953 example. Here's one tag, and then here's the other tag. It almost looks like a reproduction, how new it is. And then the other one, it's a little bit more worn. Let me put it the right way up. There's one tag, and then the other, and I think I did show this one off, but this is the MQ1 hat. This one's a bit worn, but it's a little older than the other ones. So you still do see the fur brim style M1943 in the Korean War being used, but you may also see hats that are like this custom made during the Korean War. One last note about these caps is they generally stayed pretty much the same, except for the fur brim versus the cotton brim, until about the 1960s or 1970s, when they changed the hat style again. It's generally a similar hat made to be worn under a helmet, but instead of the tie at the top, it would be a Velcro, and then the brim changed a little bit more. The materials and some of the other aspects of the hats may have changed, but those are mainly what I've noticed from looking at pictures of them on the internet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed me showing off these hats as much as I enjoyed showing them off to you and sharing a little bit of history I gained on these. And if you have any questions or just comments on these hats, please let me know. And thank you for watching.